Welcome back to the Two Comma Club podcast. Today, Chris and I are joined by another Chris Bruce. Chris Bruce here is the internet marketing goat, and I'm super excited to have him on here and teach us a little bit about things related to building courses and things of that nature. So, Chris, if you could kind of give us a little bit of your background and how you got into this space, that'd be huge.
Yes, definitely. First off, I want to say, thanks for having me on here. Um, Goal is to definitely provide some value for all the listeners. So I got into this marketing space through real estate. Initially, I was a real estate investor about 15 years ago, with now 16 years. And from there, I had a successful real estate investing business, wholesaling properties across the country. Fast forward, people were saying what they were doing. They wanted me to, start teaching them. I created my own online course coaching program, and took a few years, but finally got successful with that. Got my two comma club award with that in 2020, and then um, from there, I started seeing a lot of people were struggling with, how that they had launched their own brands and coaching and things like that. So naturally, a lot of real estate investors that wanted to create their coaching program came to me, and I helped a few people out. They got their own two comma club awards, and I said, "Hey, hold on, might be on to something." Um, and so from there, I just created my agency in 2023. Um, and we just got a award for that, which is basically just helping people launch their online course, the funnels, the ads, all of the marketing, and then scale that to seven figures.
Love it. I love it. It's good stuff. I like how you started real estate. I'm a real estate guy, so I totally get that. And I get a feel for you. And I think that, sales is sales, whether it's real estate or marketing, having the people skills, having those kind of things. Um, People are coming to you, obviously, to get, because you had some experience, you had a track record that kind of worked. So talk a little bit about your journey. Like, how'd you come from like that real estate background into marketing? And kind of like how'd you discover that's kind of where your niche was or your market was?
Definitely. So, I come from humble beginnings. I'll say I ended up reading the Rich Dad Poor Dad book, which I'm sure a lot of listeners have read, right? I tell people be careful reading that book because I read that book and I quit my job 5 months later. So
Amen to that.
um so I just went all in. Now I will say that everything didn't go great. I ended up back at my mom's house, sleep on the couch. My car got repossessed, all type of stuff, right? Going through the journey. But about 5 or 6 months later, things picked up and I was able to just start having a lot more success. This was around 2011. And then that year I started to realize how important marketing was. I started realizing that marketing is the lifeline of your business. Like, you can know sales, but if you don't have anybody to sell to, it doesn't really matter. Um, so I saw my mentor, which is the person, Preston Ely, who's the one who got me started in real estate. And one thing that I saw him do was like, all right, the real estate is cool. We're making money from that. But I saw him create this software and he made like $1 million in like, an hour. And I'm like, hold on. I'm working my butt off to these 10,000, $5,000 checks in real estate, and you're making $1 million in a day, pushing a couple buttons. So that's what the light bulb went off for me. It's like, okay, this guy's making money from real estate. He's making, 5x, 10x from just selling coaching and courses and stuff. And that's what sparked my interest in wanting to do that. And then on top of that, what I didn't know was the feeling that you get from helping people, right? It feels great when you are making money and stuff like that, but after a while, you kind of get immune to it and things like that. But seeing someone that was once in your shoes figure things out, make their first, deal and their first $5,000, $10,000 or six figures, like that feeling is amazing. It's no better feeling than that, because we all have a story, we all have our struggles and things like that, and then just helping someone see that it doesn't matter what you came from, where you started, you can be successful if you have the right tools and systems and belief.
That's powerful. I love that. I love that message there about the feeling you get coming from helping others rather than just like your own journey. Because it's like, at the end of the day, a lot of people, they get started in this space because they have to solve their own personal problems and things of that nature. But along the way, they really get to find the golden gem that is adding value to other people's lives, and that's really cool. So talk about the first time that you were able to like sit down and help somebody get some of those results and kind of what that looked like.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, I would say for my agency when I started that officially, I met this guy. Excuse me, his name is Eli, and we had already been, talking back and forth for a couple of years. But I started my agency because of him, actually. And the reason why I say that is because I didn't have a plan on starting an agency, but I gave him two options. I said, hey, listen, I can, give you everything that you need to be successful, train your people, but it's going to cost this much. And it was a pretty significant amount of money. Or I said, hey, listen, I could do all this stuff for you. We become a partner, but I need 30% of your business. And he was like, you know what? I think that you're going to work harder if you become a partner versus be paid up front. And I was like, I was like, so I formulated my agency because of him. So in that span, and I think we did it in 5 or 6 months. We did 7 figures. And that was with his course, which teach people how to flip land. Um, so yeah, it was amazing. He went from I think his best month was 30,000 a month to we doing multiple 6 figures a month. So it was amazing feeling, for him, for me, also to helping someone. And yeah, that was probably one of the first ones. And then from there we scaled someone else's and then just kept going.
Nice. I love that. It is, I wanted to piggyback a little bit what you guys were sharing about. It is super rewarding to help others. I mean, I enjoy that more, somebody getting their first deal, their first property. Like that's super exciting to me. So I definitely piggyback. I can feel that. And, you get to a point where things are different. You start doing that and it's about helping people and you really enjoy it. Not about, how many dollars can you make and how can you make so much off somebody, but really
Right.
how can you help them? And then the money seems to follow. I think that's kind of the course I found, and it really that's just the path I see. But my why is to be a leader who makes leaders. And I think that's it. You start to look at a rising tide brings up all ships. For us, it's more
Mhm.
deals, more opportunities, and you're helping people, and they naturally want to give back to you because you pour so much value into them. So for that, look at how are people like discovering you. Like, obviously, you're providing value. I feel like you're sincere about things, Chris. I get that. How are you connecting with those people that you can really make a major impact right now? How are you just they discovering you?
Yeah. So most of them lately have been like word of mouth. I will say that I've
Yeah,
done a decent job at providing value. So people have been definitely giving me referrals.
yeah.
Podcasts like this sometimes. Um, the person that I'm working with now, which we're about 115,000 away from hitting $500,000 a month in revenue this month.
Nice.
She found me from a podcast. I paid these guys to be on their podcast from the time because they have a pretty big podcast. And I asked her last year, I was like, "Hey, Hannah, how did you find me?" And she was like, "Yeah, I found you on this podcast." And she told me the name of it. I was like, "Oh, wow, I didn't even know you listened to them." So it was funny. So those have been my, ways of getting more out. I guess I can't say outreach, but like more people have been coming towards me because of that.
That's awesome. I love that. Yeah, podcasting is a great way to like network and get your message out there and let people know kind of who you are and what you're about. So that's awesome. What would you say has kind of been like the process that you go about building relationships with the people who have discovered you and kind of nurturing those relationships so that way they get to know, like, and trust you and understand what you have going on and how you can help them.
Definitely, definitely. So one of the things that's really helped me in that lane is just also putting out a mixture of different content. So educational content, showcasing the things that they can do on their own to help with their business, and then a mixture of lifestyle of things that I'm doing. One thing, people see is like success leaves clues, right? So when they see that, I'm living pretty decent, traveling and doing things, then they want to, get closer to me and figure stuff out. And then from there, just having a couple conversations. Always believe that you got to lead with value. Before I ask for a dollar from anybody, I'm trying to lead with value and, give them some things that they can implement. And once they get a quick win and they realize I didn't have to charge them for anything like that, they're like, oh yeah, I need more. How can I get more?
I love that. I think it is true. I think once people see you're genuine, like you said, sincere, and you're giving value up front, like you said, leading with that. And because so many people I know, I'm sure you experienced it, Chris, they just ask for the sale, no value. You don't see what the rainbow looks like. They just want to sell, sell. I'm like, you can see through that. And as the more I've been studying about this, just it's just the insincerity. It gives the opposite effect versus, hey, let me give you value. Let me give you something that can help you, and then hey, if we work together, if not, that's fine, but at least at the end of the day, I know I left you a better person, a better place. So look at that, something we discover, kind of that discover, nurture. How are you giving that value, or what's that look like now in your business as you're with people with coaching? Like, how are you giving that up front to get those, help them get those quick wins? I'm always interested in stuff like that, if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely. So sometimes it could be something that is just looking at their funnel, and I can say, uh when it looks like in your funnel that there's the headline that you have right there. I think it needs to be more curiosity based. I think you need to, go with this angle here. And they'll be like, oh wow, or maybe the structure of their offer, the pricing. And I'll say, listen, man, you're really, undercharging for the value that you're giving. Um, and a lot of times it's just confidence that they may not have, especially if they're kind of new. They don't think that someone will be willing to pay them that amount of money. And I just show them just, how to also, it might be something where I've helped one person before that I work with now too, where I was explaining to her, like, she just didn't know how to explain the value. She was giving a lot of value, but it's hard in copywriting to understand how to write it out for someone else to understand it and see it. So I just kind of helped her with that. And I told her, hey, listen, you don't even have to like think about this deeply. You can even ask AI. And, so she was like, oh, I need to work with you because you're blowing my mind of these things that Like, I'm just like, yeah, we can talk about that. And now
I
we work
love that.
together. So yeah.
It sounds like kind of like the value add first approach, where you're just being a genuine person and jumping in and helping and adding value however it is you can, and then as a result of that, it's kind of becomes a reciprocal relationship where they're like, man, that's awesome. Like I want more of what Chris is providing here, and things of that nature. That's awesome. So in terms of like the programs and everything that you have going on right now, what are kind of the offers that you're putting out there to the world at the moment?
So right now, I just have just my partnership. I have my partnership with my agency. Um, and so we come in and we partner with clients. We come in, we build their funnels, we build all the ads, we run the marketing for them. Um, we do all the editing for the videos. We handle the customer support. Um, we do it's probably it's like a full stack digital marketing agency. So only thing client has to do is just focus strictly on fulfillment. That's really been my main offer with my partnerships. Um, I am looking to the second quarter of the year get back into educating a lot more, getting to like maybe start a community, and I don't know if I'm gonna do a course again, but that is what I'm looking to do, get back on YouTube, start putting out content because I love those different things. Um, so that's the only offer I have right now is the partnership. But I am looking to, also add in some more different things second quarter of the year.
It's awesome. And I just think there's so much value, as you said, giving and coaching and helping folks. And John, I've realized that more and more that you can do on your own and kind of figure it out, which you can do. I'm not saying people can't do that in today's day and age, but man, I'd much rather pay somebody to help me eliminate the mistakes. I always say this, and I heard it again last week. Don't make the mistakes I make your own. And I talked about that with people I'm working with. Like, look, I've already screwed it up a ton. Don't do my mistakes. Let's figure out new ways to screw it up. And it really is, you're paying for that speed. And I think, for coaching. So for you, like what's somebody that's helped you, or is specifically some advice, or what have you done coaching wise to kind of get yourself? Because obviously nobody's self-made, if we're being honest. Everybody, when people say it drives me nuts, I'm like, somebody's coached you, mentored you, stepped up beside you and helped you, propped you up. So for you, what's been some people that's helped you, or some ways that people have helped you maybe?
If you're interested in learning more about the tidbits and advice that they have, then you should consider subscribing to the Two Comma Club newsletter, where you'll get daily updates and advice on the podcast and the things that we are learning from the individuals who have made at least $1 million. Just go to 2ccnewsletter.com or click the link in the description down below and subscribe.
Yeah, well, I would definitely say, I mean, Russell Brunson is, one of the top people, right? I mean, the way that um, he simplified the process of going from prospect lead to sale is just it's been great. I'm still using the same things that he talks about today. Like that perfect webinar script, I've actually programmed it into AI now. So like I'm able to like pump webinars out in, like quick, like 2 minutes. But anyways, Russell Brunson is definitely, yeah, like definitely top. There's other guys. Ryan Dice was probably like the first online mentor that I had. I bought his course back in 2013. It kind of got me into like a lot of automation, things like that. So he was definitely a pivotal person for me. And then along the way, there's been other people. Dan Henry, he was my mentor. I paid him like 30,000 in 2020. So I credit him to why I hit my first 7 figures. So yeah, definitely not self-made at all. I've had a lot of mentors. Still to this day, I have mentors. Because I'm always trying to stay ahead of the game and make sure that there's any loopholes and things that I'm missing, I continue to still learn.
I love it.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot to be said about mentors in your life and things of that nature. What have been some of the more, I guess, bigger takeaways that you've gotten from those experiences that you've had?
So I would say one of them, I know people say this a lot and it's true, is the mindset. I realize, a lot of things happen to do with your mindset. And it's not necessarily about like positive or negative. It's sometimes about what your thinking capacity is, the ceiling, right? There's times where I felt like, oh, I don't know if we could hit these amount of numbers that I'm seeing people do. And it's like, being around the high level mentors and seeing where they're at has helped me break through my own limiting beliefs. Right. Like I said, I got someone that's coming up to $500,000. If you told me this a few years ago, I'd have been like, this doesn't even seem possible for me. Um, so I think that's one of the biggest things. And then also I would say a thing that people don't talk about all the time, or which is important that I believe mentors have done for me, is also team building, right? There's one thing about creating strategy and processes and things like that. But then it's like, how do I delegate properly? Who do I know what to put in this seat? And that has been so invaluable for my business because there's only so much that I can do, right?
Yeah.
So that alone has been one of the best advice and game changers for me.
I love that. I love team building, and you just kind of hit like you're only as good as your team, especially the players on your team. And I'm always thinking of A players, like who can I get as A players? And you start out. At least I couldn't afford A players. I just would let afford anybody. I was getting virtual assistants, and they had a hard time with the language barrier. I'm like, God bless them. And I was just doing the best I could, fumbling around. Then I started to get better people because I knew I wanted to look for. And I started hiring better people, and now I've got some really solid players. John and I've been working together. It's been awesome. I think that's super critical is getting good teammates. But I also had to realize, I'm sure you do, Chris, is stay in your own lane. What things are you really good at and enjoy doing? I always tell people, what do you enjoy? Because you can be good at something and not like it, I think. Vice versa. You can do some things you enjoy doing, but you're not good at. So I think having that, what kind of things like kind of your unique abilities, superpower that for you that's really kind of just help you grow your business or have your business took off?
Right. Me, I love the offer creation. I don't like funnel building or things like that. I think, yeah, my specialty is offer creation and then coming up with the different marketing creatives for like the ads and stuff like that. I think that those are the things that I absolutely love to do and I'm good at. And I don't mind, continue doing those things. All the other things that I don't like doing, I'm like, all right, we got to either hire somebody or we got to get AI to do it. Take too much time.
I get it. I'm in the same boat, man. I get it.
Yeah, for real. That's awesome. So, kind of help me walk through some of those processes. Like when you go to help somebody do like an offer launch or create an offer, like what are the things you're looking to make as a part of that? Do you have a framework or a process you take
Oh,
people through?
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So, what I figured that's been working, well, what I've tested that's works the best was why I know our people are coming to me is the webinar model, right? And so I have felt like we have perfected the auto webinar model, where we have people come in. And we first look at what it is that their niche is. We create uh, a USP, unique selling proposition, create an offer, figure out what that's going to look like first. And then when we start from there, we start, building everything out. So, and also with that, we create a high ticket offer because I always tell them that we have to have an essential model of things, right? So we're going to start off with a course webinar, sell something for $997. Uh, and then from there, we're going to have them on the back end upsold to a high ticket offer for $10,000. My first steps is just getting that offer creation. We're figuring out what that looks like. We map out the webinar. We do it live. Now I have my people do it a certain way where you can't tell that like don't say no dates or don't say this time because we're going to turn this with the goal to turn this to an auto webinar. And then from there we just after we get it live and it does really good, we then transition that to an auto webinar and it runs daily. And then on the back end we're also sending those people to get booked by our sales team. So I think something I didn't mention earlier is that we do have a sales team as well. And so we have setters, closers, and so we're also selling that high end, offer back to high ticket back end offer for them as well too. So that's pretty much simple process. There's other funnels that I've done, but and there's stuff that we still push like low ticket stuff, but like the best thing that's worked for us that does millions of dollars is auto webinar and then sell high ticket on the back end.
Love it. So we talk to all kinds of folks about sales, marketing. We love having these conversations. Hopefully you don't mind digging in a little bit. And
Yeah.
John and I probably nerd out on it if anything. But to me it's just fascinating. I just think how, how you have an idea, like I said, reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad, with a 4-hour work week, something you can set up. I love the verbiage you're using about auto webinars. And with AI now you can do a ton of things. I work with AI every week. I'm just blown away by the things that come up in AI that I'm like, how would I have thought about it that way? It's just different, which is awesome. But so looking at that, like obviously it's setting people up. How are you looking to the future? Like what's that look like for you? Kind of what's some of your goals? How are you wanting to set things up differently? You talked about a little bit about some coaching or getting back into kind of doing some courses. What's it look like for you? And what do you see the future for your business and the marketing business as well? Because things have definitely changed sales wise. So how are you looking at that differently maybe?
Yeah, definitely. So one of the things that, we've been focusing on um is the AI. We've inserted that so much in our business now where we're using it daily. So prime example, we've built AI text bots that now once someone comes in from the webinar based off their activity, whether they watched to the end and didn't buy or they bought, we have certain time stamps where we're bringing them into the bot. We name it specific, we train it, and then it goes back and forth. And so we've been using that to sell our high ticket. Essentially, they're kind of like a setter. So we definitely have scaled that over the last year and a half. Some of the future things that we're going to be doing now is also inserting that into people's Instagram. So for our content creators that we work with, that we have them say something like, comment this. Instead of having mini chat, just respond with a DM, we're going to have this bot take over and go back and forth and do the same type of thing. So that's where we're going with that. Um, and just using any type of AI things that can alleviate some stuff that we're manually having to do. I believe in like also keeping your team lean as possible, especially with having these new, resources of AI and things out. Stuff that, things that there are things we can't delegate, right? But if there is a process and stuff like that that we can create with AI, for instance, like with Sora, now we can create B-roll a lot faster now. So my videographers can go in and create that B-roll and add the content in and edit videos. We're using things like just script and stuff like that. So that's my future things is just anything we can insert AI in to just speed up the process and do it efficiently. That is where we're going with the future of the agency. So that way, my goal is to have 20 clients that we're working with, and all of them doing multiple six figures a month, if not seven figures. So that's where I'm going to go.
That's awesome. I love that. There's a lot I want to dive into around the AI stuff that you've learned to date because I know it's a topic that a lot of people haven't necessarily been extremely exposed to or don't really know the depth to which they can utilize this stuff. But like one thing that I kind of want to do it through the context of is understanding that when we talk about like running a business and everything, I think one of the most painful parts that every business owner has is like the fulfillment side of things and how much time and energy that takes. And so my question is like, how would you kind of help quantify for those out there that are not using AI, like what they can do to lower their fulfillment while keeping, the profit margins that they have available, and what those
Definitely.
tools and resources are?
Right. So recently, we came across a software last year called HeyGen. And one of the things that we're testing right now with that is, someone comes in new, they don't have a course, right? Well, like you said, the fulfillment of building out a full stack course can take weeks, right? Just trying to put everything together. So what we found with HeyGen is that we can record them one time. And from there, we could just take the content that they would actually speak, put it into HeyGen, and it'll spit out all the videos of them talking. So something like that is something that we're working on because now we can produce a massive content, get courses and things out a lot faster rate. I don't think it's yet good enough to do like video sales letters or ads yet, but definitely for the course because I think that's one of the bottleneck of the uh, time stamps that take us a little bit longer with fulfillment is them creating the course content. Another thing is with using AI to create the outline of the content that we do it all the time. It's like, okay, if you've never coached before, a lot of times you know what you do, but it's hard to explain to someone that's brand new, right? You probably forgot more stuff than people ever learn. So it's just showing them out, okay, too, let's go through that format of like, if I'm a brand new person that know anything about crypto, how can I explain to someone how to get their own, wallet, how to do these different things and stuff like that? So those are things that we've been using, and these are simple tools like ChatGPT that you can use to really help get that fulfillment out with the client base on that. And then the only other thing is that when we get to a point where we're scaling, like one client had it is right now, I teach them how to take someone that is successful in their program and then turn them into a coach because this also helps with the fulfillment of things. It's like, if you got 30, 40 new onboarding clients coming in, that could get a little crazy and get overwhelming for some of the clients. So now we train them how to do that as well, um, and help with that.
I love that. I love how you're just getting people, you're getting them through the process, then you're making them leaders and coaches. I love, and it's almost natural. It just becomes like, because what you do, so it's like, hey, this is how you can grow. You can grow, but really your growth's going to come from people in your group, and it's going to continue to. Which I love. To me, that's exciting. I know I hear you talking about that, and it just really gets me excited about it. Just seeing I think the big thing going back is really, I think the biggest hurdle I think about people have is mindset. We talk about that all the time. Like you said, you get somebody and like, hey, you have a ton of value here. Hey, you have a unique proposition, but it's them saying, hey, this to me is rudimentary. It just seems like, something I talk about and think about every day. But when I talk to others about certain things, to me, it's just rudimentary. But for others, it might be a totally unique proposition that nobody else has. So getting over that mindset. How do a lot of people, I mean, I know talking about rich dad, poor dad, how you went, slept on mom's couch, those kind of things. Um, Obviously there's a resistance. There's a period people jump in with both foot. I call it that mindset is that, and a lot of people don't have that, but the entrepreneur world I find is so interesting because people do have that, but it's always different ways or a different thing they heard but it's definitely committing 100%. You can't have both feet in and out. It just seems to take a lot longer when you do that, but when you 100% commit. So talk about mindset. How's that? And with your coaching with people, and then for you personally, what was your both feet in moment, or how are you coaching people to get their both feet in to commit to things?
Yeah, good question. So uh, in 2009, I had my daughter, and at that pivotal point, I think when anybody has kids, you just start thinking bigger, right? You have someone now to take care of, and you got to think outside of yourself. And when I had my daughter, I realized like, I'm working this job, I'm making $12 an hour. This is not a career. This is just a job for me, and I need to figure out what was going to be that next thing. Um, I started to see that there were times where um, other kids and the older they're a little bit older than her at the time she's just born, but like there were things that happened in the daytime. And one thing that I realized is that I didn't want to have to ask my boss, can I get off this time for this? She's having a ceremony in the morning. Can I can I come in a little bit later? And I didn't want to have a boss to, make that judgment of yes or no. So that was the pivotal moment for me, is that, I have to go all in. And what I did, because after I reported out, like I said, I realized, okay, well, it's not gonna make me rich or wealthy. So let me go all in. What I did was, I burned the bridges. I said that it's only one way for me to go all in. I had to give it where there's no option for me to turn back. So what I did going into January 2010, I ended up saying that I have May 7th. This is the day I'm going to quit. And I'm going to take all of my sick time, all of my vacation time before May. So that means if I stay past May 7th, I would never have a day off if I wanted. Um, and that is what I did. So May 7th, I left. I just never came back. And that was that moment for me.
I love it.
So, what did things look like after you had jumped all in and you had, burnt the bridges, and how you ended up, rolling into where it is that you are at now?
Yeah. So very different from then, because again, this was 2010, right? So um it's funny, I found myself thinking that I was like on this extended vacation, because like the next week I rolled around, I didn't wake up early, and I'm like, well, I gotta make some money. um so I wish that I could say that everything just worked out great, but it didn't. I ended up, again, back. I had a failed relationship. I ended up back in my mom's house. My car wasn't making payments. I was putting the money into marketing my real estate business, and so wasn't making payments on that. That got repossessed right in front of my face too. It was crazy. I was on the phone with a friend, and I had my daughter in my hand. I'm looking through the kitchen window, and I'm seeing a tow
Man,
truck
that's
pull up. I'm
wild.
like, oh man,
Oh man. Oh man.
yeah, it's crazy.
Uh,
So now I don't
oh
have
man.
a car, but one thing that the guy who became my mentor, one thing that he told me to do is that your mind has to arrive at a destination before you do. And so he had me reading a lot of books, and I realized that I just need to change the way I view money, my relationship with money. And I started reading a whole bunch of books. As you can see behind me, I have tons of books that I read. And that was really the foundation for shifting my mindset. So fast forward July 2010, I have no car anymore. It's repossessed. To November, going to December, I won a contest, and that contest actually was a Hummer, H2 Hummer. So I won a wrapped H2 Hummer. We buy houses with my company name, including the software. I won that. So just changing the mindset and seeing that was like, wow, I never won anything in my life. Um, and then from there, kept going, and just up awareness and mindset and marketing and things like that. And then fast forward to now, I just continue the same thing, reading, having mentors. Um, it's super important. And then also too, I think sometimes people don't talk about this, but you got to be around the energy of people that have money, right? So I knew my mentor at the time. Now I didn't have no car, and I was borrowing my mother's car. I knew exactly what Starbucks he went to. I would go to that Starbucks, right? Try to run into him from there. So for some people, I don't know, maybe people don't do Starbucks as more, just hang out like that. But like, maybe going to like open houses where there are $1 million houses, right? Going to the dealerships and, just maybe taking a test drive or just sitting into one of those nice cars. But just being around the energy, you got to get around those people, because there's a thing called mirror neurons where, you start the energy from them starts to go off to you. And I think it's just super important to insert yourself around some high level thinkers and just people, just the energy of people that are just going for more. And I think that that will also help you as well. It did for me.
Love it. I love it. That's one of the things I love talking about mindset. I don't really get into it, so I don't want to geek out on that with you too much. But I definitely see in people. My thing is, at first I had trouble, high ticket selling it. I just didn't feel like, hey, but then realizing the value, like right away, if I could give you X value times 3 or 5 or 10, why wouldn't you? It's almost like I'm holding you back, because who else is going to teach you this stuff? I mean, you're coming to me for help. And that really the mindset. And John's helped me with that a lot, just seeing the mindset, getting us in bigger rooms and with bigger people, and just seeing these people just it's just crazy. Just once you get around people who want something different, it causes you to want something different. I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting things. I just think it's how we are naturally. I do think, you can get into it and, you can become materialistic. I don't mean that, but wanting something different, like you said, it's okay to want things different. It's okay to be around people who want things different. And you're going to work. I mean, you're going to put the time and energy in. What are you getting out of it? I really believe that. I tell people all the time, you're going to work, but what are you working for? What are you doing? So look at that with people. I do see that right away, there's certain people I just can't work with. And there's people that it's going to be a time suck, or they don't want something different yet. That's one of the first things I ask people: do you want something different? And as we're talking to folks in their business, I think they have a goal or an idea, but they don't understand the process to get to it. How are you getting people? Obviously, I'm sure you get a lot of people hit you up on Instagram or things like that. How are you pre-qualifying? Because I know that can be a huge thing for a lot of people as time sucks and people just want to pick your brain, not pay anything for it. So how are you working through that and kind of helping people through that, if you don't mind sharing?
All right, good. Yeah. So for the partnership, there are some requirements that I do have. It's like now I really only work with people that are creating content already. You know, maybe they have a course already and they need work with scaling. So I like to start with there first. Um, People do come to me all the time, and I tell people like, if you're not used to posting organic content and things like that, and this is probably not gonna be for you, for me to us to work together. This is also why I want to create something that can be for them, right? To help them and this course or like I said, community or something like that to kind of train them up because if people see the money and things like that, or they see lifestyle stuff and they're like, oh, I gotta do this. And I know they're not ready yet because this is a lot of work and stuff like that. Um, so that's what I do for the partnership, but I definitely reason why I want to have something lower. I call it's like a menu, right? And
Yeah.
you go to a restaurant, you may not be hungry, you might just want an appetizer. So it's like it's important for me to create that so someone can just kind of warm up and get the feeling of it and then realize, oh, you know what, I do want more. And they're going to go out and put the work in and then get to that level where they can afford to, get into it or do that more. So that's what it is. As far as like other mindset stuff, um, I haven't had too many issues within this space, uh, because I'm helping people, like I said, in the online course coaching program that kind of already has something going on. Now, definitely when I was in my other business, which is teaching people real estate, whew, it was a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I found that out working real estate. The people that don't have a property or get to their first one, man, it felt like it was a big hill. You're almost talking them into it. You're like, why am I trying to talk them into it? I'm not coaching this, but I'm dragging them. And then you get somebody that's got a little bit of success. Oh, it gets easier. Then somebody who has a good measure of success, they're just open. And I always say it's like a doctor. They're giving you advice. You're going to take it or not take it. And my doctor gives me advice. I want to take it. That's why I have trouble sometimes right away. If you give somebody something to do, they don't do it, it's not going to work out in the long run. So, but yeah, go ahead, John. I'm sorry, I cut you off here.
Oh no, you're all good. Yeah, that's great about the pre-qualifying and everything because that's so important. There's been quite the trend with the individuals that we've had on the podcast so far talking about how important that is, especially in like the high ticket space. And it's like the key defining difference between whether or not you're going to be successful. Because at the end of the day, you're offering somebody results and you want to get them those results, right? And it's like if you don't clearly articulate the work that's involved in that, then maybe they're not willing to do the work that's involved in it, and therefore when you take their money, it's like this whole thing, and you got to work your way back. So what have been some of your experiences taking on the clients that you've taken on, and how did they uh, respond to like the work that was required and the effort that they had to put in, and then how did they get the results that they ultimately have?
Right. So, I think that for the most part, like all of my clients, because I think that was the one good thing about my agency beforehand is that because I've made, several $1 million in my own business offers, that it was easy for me to, communicate to them the work that's involved. And also them entrusting me that if I'm telling them to do something that, well, that's what's going to lead to getting them their goal. So that has definitely helped me because it's coming from an agency. I'm coming from a background of I was in their shoes in the beginning and Now I'm helping them, get to where they want. So when it comes to like creating content and stuff like that, it hasn't been an issue or creating ads and I send them scripts and stuff like that. It's not an issue. I will say this though. Um, One thing happens naturally is that uh when I'm running ads and they're already making money and they can kind of hide behind the ads at times, they don't want to put out as much content. They kind of get a little lazy on that side of things because they're like, hey, listen, I'm bringing in money every day and I don't have to really do anything. But I always happen to remind them, if you want to be better than anybody else that I'm working with, you do this on top of the ads, right? This is going to amplify both because we're in a trust recession. And I tell them all the time, like people don't trust people as much nowadays, right? And so we have to over deliver with people seeing from ads, seeing from content, things like that, because that's going to make sure someone says, oh, this person really does want to help. And I'll work with all clients that's another thing too. Like you got to really want to help somebody. Yeah. Because if you don't, yeah, we're not here just to make some money because I'm not here to deal with disputes and stuff like that because you're not doing any fulfillment on your side. Um, but yeah, that's what it is. Just sometimes it's just reminding them. As far as the workload on their end, I've been lucky that I've chose people that are very passionate about what they're doing. So I haven't had any issues of having to tell them to do this and do that. I could kind of sense that out, from someone that, I always talk about, hey, I want to make $1 million a month. And then it doesn't match up with the work ethic I see in the beginning. I'm kind of like, all right, I'm not able to.
We're laughing with you because we know how that is. See, as people get on board, you're like, you didn't realize it'd be X number of effort. You're only putting out a number of efforts. So look, you got to raise the occasion, but that's good. That's good. No, I think it is. That's the key. Is what, like you said, showing up and somebody telling you you can't work every day or you can't have the day off, or working with people who are motivated. And it's so exciting and so different. And I just love that. I mean, I love helping people. I love seeing them have goals and want to shoot for it. Be accountable. They just want the path. They just want to do the work. If they have the work ethic, they just want the path. That's what I love about helping people. I just like what John and I do. People are already successful, helping them scale that success, keep more money in their pocket. Like that really gets me excited because people are working hard, and that's what they want to do. And it's contagious. You get around that, and it really just feeds the rest of the groups. I love that. So when you hit that with your folks, obviously like you said, some success. I call it, atrophy. Just kind of slow down. They're doing good. I mean, you should always be prospecting. I believe, like always prospecting. How are you coaching with that? Like for people who get some money, they get some things going, and then kind of get in the next level because it does wear on you having to grind and grind and grind, and you can't be breakneck all the time. So when people start hitting that resistance or kind of that, those kind of things, how are you coaching or helping people? If you don't mind us asking how you do that.
Yeah, good question. So a lot of times it's just again just they're I think sometimes it's just a score of things. The only way we can really keep score in this business is, by how much money we make a lot of times or how much people we help. And so I based off of the person's personality, I can figure out what I can do to motivate them. So for instance, one of my clients I work with that teaches people how to flip mobile homes. We just got her to the six-figure a month mark. But I have conversations with her all the time. And, the other day she got a message from someone that said that they were able to quit a job that they had for like 15 years. Right. And so I always make sure that I remind her of these things. It's like, you're changing a lot of people's lives. And it's important that if you do not do these things, how much more in the world do you not be able to help? Right. And I have some people that, they're motivated by not necessarily the money, but just how they can keep progression, right? So they say, okay, we're at this amount of money a month. How can we get to this level? How can we get to this level? And they're just so motivated by the progression of things. And so if they know, hey, I got to put out more content, I got to do this, I got to do this, whatever, they do it. So that's kind of where the motivation comes from. I just kind of figure out based off of where someone is, their personality. Maybe they want to travel a little bit more. Maybe they want to do this. Those I just use that to kind of insert that into them again. But like I said, they all trust me. That's the good thing is that they all trust me. Some of them have already been successful already, but they see what I'm doing They're like, yo, you tell me what you're doing, we'll do it, because we know that you have a good track record of the success rate. So,
That's awesome. I love that. So looking at 2025 as we're in a new year and everything, like what are your goals and everything that you're going after this year?
yeah. So right now, I have one of my clients that said we're getting her to 500,000 a month, and that goal for her is to get to 1 million a month. And then all my other clients, I want to get them to multiple six figures a month. But outside of the money stuff, my goal really is to get into another form of advertising, which I have not got into deeply as much as I wanted, which is Google and YouTube. I've mastered Facebook ads, TikTok ads. We're still running on there. And that's another channel that I think is super important that we have not mastered yet as a company. And that is something that I'm working on, either hiring out, or learning myself. I will tell you, I'm a person that I like to learn myself first and then hire, because then if I have to hire, and I kind of know if they're not doing good or not because I know how to
Yeah,
do it,
yeah.
you know. Uh, so that's where I'm going. And then also I'm bringing more people in. Like I just found that you guys might want to look into. I didn't even know that, hiring talent in Lebanon. These people are very skilled, educated. I just interviewed two people that had master's degree. Um,
Wow.
and they're very educated. They're very critical thinkers. Because a lot of times we go hire people from, Philippines or India and things like that.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, but now these people in Lebanon are like super, super intelligent. They speak English. They work out long hours, and the pay is probably like Philippine level or just a little bit over. So it's crazy. So I'm actually just getting ready to hire an operations manager to take over my day-to-day stuff. So I'm excited about like this year, um, putting people into the seats where they need to be. I'm excited to grow my sales team. That's some of the goals I have, and making sure that they're all making money. That's my biggest thing now. Like I make a good amount of money. I travel all the time. I live a very good, blessed life. God has blessed me. Um, but I want to make sure the people around me are making a lot of money. That's my goal. Like my teammates, they're all happy, they're successful, they're making money, changing their family lives. So I looked at it as like, even with me, I had a ceiling and a cap of with my agency, and I realized that I can't think like that, because that doesn't help more people in my team, right? I want to make sure that they're hitting their goals, they're hitting their, things that they want to do, income wise and stuff like that. So I was like, I had to rewire my mind and say, I need to think as big as I can. Because the more money that I'm bringing in, I'm able to pay them, and they're getting their goals. I got a sales guy that wants to buy a house this year, right? He's making 10,000 a month. But we got to get that up to 20, 30. So I think about those things now. It's like, I'm great, right? I've had a great, blessed life, and it's going to continue like that. But how can I add in these things, add more clients, bring more revenue for them, bring more revenue for the people that are on my team, take care of them, and everything else take care of itself.
yeah. I love that. I think when you have a number for that, not that you have to, but it's how you keep score. When you have a number for each person, and they give you the number, your team members do. It makes it huge, and then it's just able to help them. We're having VAs we were hiring. I'd ask them, what's your goal? What do you want to do? And they would come up with some crazy stuff I would never think of. I had one VA. She wanted to marry a guy from Canada. She was in the Philippines. I'm like, I don't know why you want to marry a guy from Canada, but let's go. So every time I'd meet somebody from Canada, I'm like, hey, I got a guy. He's doing well, six figures a month. I think you like him. So you just got to find what people want and what hits their butt. Like you said, their unique ability, what they're good at. Put the right people in the right seats, but also what motivates people. And I think when you have that genuine sincerity, you want to find those things out. Then naturally, they want, like you said, you have a bigger goal, and it feeds into their goal, and just a rising tide brings up all ships. I love that. I really do. And I think that's sincerity too. You don't want to do it to manipulate, but you want to do it to motivate and help. And it's a relationship. No matter where you are on the spectrum of the relationship, you're trying to help them from a relational standpoint, and it's a win for everybody, your team, their team, what they're doing, your clients. So I love that, man. I really appreciate your authenticity on that and what you're doing. So obviously things change. When you get X number of dollars, and I had some real estate, and I mean I was bootstrapping it and plugging away, working on houses, like you said, doing the jobs to know how to do it. So when I hired people, and now that I'm doing something different and things are comfortable and I enjoy it, it's different motivation. It really is. And I think for that, it's just finding out what motivates people, like you're talking about. Um, So put some numbers. What's some of your goals this year? Like
Yeah,
who's mentoring you this year? What are you looking to do different? I mean, bigger, like your company growth and with your people. And
definitely, definitely. So, income wise, I would say I want to be around 5 to 6 million this year. That's what we're looking to take it as an agency. That's just off the commissions. The good thing about it is that as we help other course builders and their programs and stuff grow, we get to participate in that growth. So that's the good thing about my agency. We don't charge a monthly retainer fee or anything at all. We're strictly based on bringing you profit, right? So we're motivated to bring you more profit in your businesses because as you grow, we grow. Um, so I have one client that we've been working with for 2 years. We're at $4 million in the last 2 years, getting ready to cross five. My goal is to take her to 10 million. Um, and like I said, I have one of my other clients. She's at six figures. So we're gonna take her to her first 7 figures. And then just everybody at the same time. It's just I have a process that is working good to take people to 7 figures in less than 7 months. So I'm looking to do that a little bit faster. Obviously, if I can do it in 5 months, 4 months, that'd be great. Um, but that's the goal, and like I said, for my company goals is we can do about 5 million this year and then figure out what we can do to get to 10 million. So it was required me to think bigger. It's required me to hire more people and things like that. But I'm excited. I'm excited for the future. I'm excited, for the things that's happening in my life and the people that is coming into my company. I just hired a couple new closers and they've been crushing it. Like, I had
love
this
it.
female closer, and I mean, she's been closing 3, 4 high ticket sales a day. I'm like, wow.
That's awesome.
You know, so I'm excited. This is her first month. She's over like 15,000 in commission. But I'm like, Jesus, crazy.
That's wild.
Um,
That's
mhm.
awesome. That's awesome.
Um, so what would you say? This is normally Chris's question, so I apologize, Chris, but I gotta ask him. It's I'm curious. So as you're doing your business and you're having the success you're having and everything, what would you say is like your one superpower that kind of you attribute all of that success to? That is the one thing that keeps moving the needle forward.
I would say definitely my vision. I think that it's important that as me being a leader, the CEO of the company is having a big vision. And so that is why it's important for me to have mentors and things like that. So I make sure that I'm also, keeping the vision aligned, but also thinking bigger, right? Thinking what's next, what's forward thinking. So that is also what has helped me, even when it came time to like pivot from real estate to doing this agency and stuff like that, is having that vision. So I believe that that's been my superpower because when content creators, course creators come to me, that's the first thing I do is like I visualize what does this look like? What does this look like to get you to 7 figures, right? Even if you're brand new or if you're just making 6 figures a year, what does it like to get you to seven, right? That's what we first start off with. So I would definitely say my vision is part of my superpower.
I love that. I think that's really aligns with what I think. I think most people don't see themselves there. I like what you said about your mentor. You have to your mind has to arrive before you do. And I really believe that. And I see people all the time. Oh, I never get there. I'm like, well, you won't. If that's what you say and you're telling yourself, there's no way. But they're like, hey, I'm going to get there. Or maybe it's just a little thing like I'm trying to get there. Well, let's just say you are there. Let's just say you will get there. Let's say you are getting there. Not I'm going to try. So I love that, man. I really like. I think for a lack of vision, my people perish. I really believe that people don't have a vision. They show up every day at work, and you love seeing that light kind of turn on. People want something different, and they start working. They're going to work hard anyway, and they start working for it. I just love that. So with you, I'm super excited for your goals this year, man. I really want to see good things, and I love seeing people prosper and do well. And because I think that people who are generous with money, it's just a tool. You know, and at the end of the day, it's a tool. Good people do good things with money. Bad people do bad things with money, and it's just a way to keep score. I totally agree with that as well. So love hearing you share those kind of things and enjoying it. The fruits of your labor. Enjoy it. Travel. I love travel as well. Those things are awesome. But at the same time, there's plenty of people who I want to help get there, just like you do as well, Chris. So I love it. So. Um, with that being said, what can people do to kind of connect with you, to reach out to you, learn more about you, and specifically what can you do to help? Like, who's your niche? Like, if you're saying, hey, this is the business owner or person I'm looking for, who would really connect with you and make sense to reach out to you?
Yeah, so I will say my specialty is anything business opportunity, right? So I'm definitely looking for some unique offers, something that, in the make money space. It doesn't have to be make money online, but the make money space. So that is my, like, just to kind of give you guys, nobody even knows this. So I'm gonna give you guys this thing.
Oh, I like it. Let's
Yeah,
go.
nobody knows this. This is breaking news right here. Um,
Awesome.
I have an offer that I'm coming out with a client that is teaching people how to start claw machines. Now, I had no idea that these things make more money than vending machines.
Really?
Um,
Really?
yeah, that's how I felt. I was just blown
My
away.
grandson's 2.5, man. He loves claw machines. I don't know why, the lights, grabbing stuff. He loves it, man. So you're speaking his language. So
Yeah, I had no idea, and I should have known this when a light bulb went off. It should have went off. Light bulb should went off when I went to Japan last year in Tokyo. Their arcades, they don't have no video games, no Street Fighter, no Mortal Kombat. Everything is claw machine. And what I found out is that the claw machines are timed, like the slot machines in the casino. And so this guy I'm working with now is like showing me how much money he's making. He did the vending machines. He's like, yo, these things are pretty much. And I'm like, what? Uh, so I'm looking for unique stuff like that. Like I said, that doesn't necessarily make money online. Anybody in that space, that's where my specialty is. I've done offers that have been like in the relationship space as well. But where I thrive in is the biz opportunity space. And then as far as follow me, I'm on all social medias, Detroit Mogul. You can look me up on Facebook, Chris Bruce. But Detroit Mogul is my handle on all socials. So you can find me from there as well.
Awesome. Well, that was a really cool final tidbit there about those machines. That's
I
I
wouldn't
never
have
would have
guessed.
thought about it.
A 2.5-year-old grandson would have told me that, but I wouldn't have guessed it. So
Right. Awesome. Well, I appreciate your time today, Chris, and I think you dropped a lot of value for everybody who's going to listen to this. And I want to thank you for your time.
I appreciate it.